What's up, guys? So we have some sweet glute information coming for you today. I, of course, am Joe Bennett, the Hypertrophy Coach, and this is Mayling, and I will let her introduce herself.
Hi, Mayling NG. You may see me on like Wonder Woman, Scorpion King, and upcoming Suicide Squad, Mongal. Play a lot of superheroes and warriors from artists, so look out for me.
Sweet. And we're going to be taking you guys through some glute stuff. We're going to have Mayling demoing, and hopefully you guys can learn some stuff and pick up some tips along the way. And check out both of our channels. Hit some like buttons, some subscribe buttons, share with some friends, and hopefully you guys enjoy the series.
Definitely subscribe to me. I know where you live. I'll come and find you.
She can beat you up. True story.
I will.
All right, guys, so coming at you again with some reverse lunge, split squats, lunge variations. And I'm going to show you a couple cues that I like, because I honestly think walking lunges, split squats, reverse lunges can all be good glute exercises. So some of it comes a little bit down to personal preference, but some of it comes to what you're focusing on when you're doing them. So I like reverse lunges the most, probably for glutes, because they focus on going backwards to start. And the goal is to have your hips go far back and to not have your knee travel far forward. So the same thing, if you were doing a walking lunge or a split squat, if I'm doing a reverse lunge and I just let that knee go forward and I sit down, this is going to be a very, quad dominant. You can see here, very quad dominant lunge. Whereas if right from the start, I kind of think a little bit almost more deadlifty, I reach far back, you can see I have a much more vertical shin, less range of motion here at the knee, and more range of motion here at the hips. So any variation that you do, go with a more vertical shin, initiate with hip flexion, a little bit more foldy and halfy, hips going back. And then every single one that you do, focus on not just standing straight up, focus on pushing the hips up and forward at the same time that you feel like you're pushing your heel down and back into the ground. So it's those two things working against each other, hips up and forward, heels pushing down and back as you come up hard into the top. And so I'll have Mayling demo a couple. She likes a lot doing them up here on the slight elevation. In general, this will get you more range of motion comparatively to just doing them on the ground, but you just have to be aware of your pelvis. So some people, if they go too low, the pelvis will start to round and pull under, but this one works pretty darn well for her. And if you want to look at something here, just a little slower on the way back, you see we're keeping that shin pretty darn vertical. And if you look at how much hip flexion she's getting here, it's a lot. So this is the angle at her hip right here. You can see that she's got her torso leaned a little bit forward. She's got a nice vertical shin. So there's a ton of range of motion occurring at the hips there. And so that's the only other thing that I'm gonna kind of sit over there, but I want you to see she's doing here is right as she initiates the movement, it's a little foldy and halfy, hips go back. And a lot of people get too caught up on keeping this upright torso here. Whereas again, if you actually fold in half just a little bit at the hips, you're gonna get more range of motion at that hip and at the glutes. Sweet. Good deal. Okay. Awesome. So to recap all that stuff, big things there. Find the version that you like, because again, I have a slight preference. Mayling has a slight preference to reverse lunges. And again, I think they work great for cueing a little bit more hip dominance and not knee dominance. But whatever variation you choose, look for a little bit more vertical shin. Start or initiate a little bit more foldy and halfy at the hips. I was even saying you can just practice sometimes starting just with basically almost like a single leg RDL. So if you literally start like this, even for learning purposes, not forever, go ahead and fold in half and then start to reach back. And I think that can be a good way to learn to keep them more hip dominant. And then whatever version you choose, think driving hips up and forward, heel down and back, and that will keep a lot more glute involvement and help keep the quads out of it.